You think you're in control of your life, but your brain has already made your next move. Scientists have discovered a readiness potential that fires in their motor cortex a full second before you even decide to act. Your conscious mind is just a passenger claiming credit for the driver's work. Let that land for a second. Before you decided to click on this video, something in your brain had already chosen it. Before you reached for your phone this morning, the signal had already been sent. You felt like you chose. You always feel like you chose. That feeling is the illusion. And here's what makes this truly unsettling. It isn't just physical movements. It's thoughts, words, decisions you believe are yours. The question isn't whether you have free will. The question is whether you, the version of you that narrates your life, plans your future, and believes it's in charge, whether that version of you is actually doing anything at all. Think about a simple moment. Someone places two buttons in front of you. One is red, one is blue. They ask you to pick one. You pause. You consider. You choose blue. You felt something in that pause, didn't you? A flicker of deliberation, a sense that you were weighing something, even slightly. But here's what the machines see. Before your hand moved, before your mouth opened, before you even felt the first whisper of preference, your motor cortex was already activating. The neural pathway was already lighting up. The decision had already been made beneath the surface, in the dark, without your permission. Your conscious experience of choosing happened after. It was a story your mind told you about something that was already done. You weren't deliberating. You were narrating. And this is where it gets stranger. Recent neuroimaging research, not from decades ago, but from now, from equipment that can read the brain at a resolution we've never had before, has crossed a line that should change the way you understand your own mind. Algorithms can now predict the next word you're about to say before you've consciously formed it, not after you start speaking, before, based solely on the pattern of pre-conscious neurospikes happening in your brain. They aren't reading your words, they're reading the electrical tremor that precedes the decision to form a word, the shadow that your thought casts before the thought itself arrives. What does that mean? It means that somewhere in your brain, a process is running, constantly. It's assembling what comes next, your next sentence, your next impulse, your next move. And by the time you think it, the process is already complete. You receive it like a notification. You didn't write it, it was handed to you. You just believe you wrote it because you were the first to read it. There's a voice in your head right now. Maybe it's saying, "This is ridiculous." Maybe it's asking a question. Maybe it's translating what I'm saying into your own words to make sure you understood it. That's your internal monologue, the constant commentary running behind everything you do. Most people assume that voice is them, that it's the seat of who they are, the thinker behind the thinking. But ask yourself something. Did you choose that thought just now? Did you decide to generate that specific internal sentence with those words in that order, or did it just arrive? Because if it arrived, if it appeared in your awareness the way a sound reaches your ears, then what exactly is listening? You are experiencing your thoughts, but that's not the same as creating them. A river doesn't choose to flow, it flows. You watch it and call it yours because it runs through your landscape, but you didn't dig the channel. You don't control the current. This is the part where most people push back. They say, "But I can stop myself. I can override an impulse. That's free will." And yes, you can stop yourself. You can override. That's real. But here's the question. What decided to override? When you chose not to say the thing you were thinking, who made that choice? When you resisted the impulse, what generated the resistance? Was that you? Or was it just another process running slightly slower than the first, arriving in time to intercept? Impulse, counter-impulse, both arriving in your awareness, neither one invited. You watch the fight, then you claim credit for the winner. Your brain is not a democracy where your conscious mind casts the deciding vote.
It's more like a massive, mostly underground operation. Billions of neurons firing in patterns shaped by everything you've ever experienced, every fear you've ever absorbed, every reward your body has ever chased, and what surfaces into your awareness is the final output, not the process. You live on the surface. Everything that matters is happening underneath. Here's the part that stays with people. Think about the last time you made what felt like a significant decision, a change, a choice that felt deeply personal. Maybe you ended something, maybe you started something, maybe you picked up your phone and searched for something you hadn't consciously planned to search for until the moment your fingers were already moving. Now ask yourself, how long had that decision actually been building? Because decisions don't appear fully formed, they accumulate, they compound, they are assembled quietly, in the background, from material you didn't consciously select, fears you haven't named, patterns you haven't noticed, desires that haven't made it into language yet. By the time you decide, the work is almost always done. You're the last to know. And this isn't a dark idea, or rather, it doesn't have to be. Understanding this changes something. If your decisions emerge from patterns running beneath your awareness, then the most powerful thing you can do isn't try harder in the moment, it's shape the conditions underneath, the environment you put yourself in, the things you expose yourself to, the habits you repeat until they become architecture. Your conscious mind may not be the driver, but it can choose the road. It can decide what experiences to let in, what it pays attention to, what patterns it reinforces, not in the moment of the decision, but long before. The passengers who understand the journey change it. There's a version of you that existed before this video. That version thought it was in control. It thought every choice was a conscious act, a deliberate selection, a moment of authorship. That version was telling itself a very convincing story. You don't have to decide right now what to do with what you just learned. Something beneath the surface is already working on it. And by the time you feel like you figured it out, the decision will already have been made.